Good evening. I would like to call to order the Lake Havasu City Council regular meeting on Tuesday, May 28th, 2019 at 6 p.m. We'll now have an invocation by Ms. Suzanne Waldron from Mount Olive Lutheran Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Aaron with First Things First.
Good evening. We ask you, God, to watch over this council, all of the people present here in our community, which is now 55,000, which is wonderful. We ask you to guide these people in their deliberations so that they make the proper choices for this community to keep it the same that it is and as wonderful as it is. We have so many blessings here in Havasu. We thank you for our police, our fire department, our council members, our mayor, our city clerks, our governor, our president of the United States, and all of these people who make our life wonderful. And we especially thank the veterans and those serving in our military for whom we recognized this past weekend. In Jesus' name we ask it. Amen.
Amen. All right. And Ms. Waldron, if you could step away from the podium, we'll have First Things First lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if Aaron, if you would like to introduce your organization and tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. Thank you very much. I want to thank the mayor and city council for a few minutes to explain a little bit about our organization. We're an early childhood organization, so that's why we invited the little kids up here with us to help lead the pledge. My name is Erin Taylor. I'm the community outreach coordinator for First Things First here for the La Paz Mojave region. I'm joined by Vijay Sari, who's our regional director for the La Paz Mojave region, and the senior director for the West regions, Ashley Pasquale. First Things First is an early childhood organization funded through the state of Arizona. We provide funding to programs that serve little ones ages birth to 5. So that's everything prenatal to the time they start kindergarten. And the whole idea behind our programs is to get kids healthy and ready to go. So by the time that they do start formal education in kindergarten, they're starting with a strong foundation. We know that 90% of critical brain development happens in those first 5 years, and that's why we fund programs that really make the most of all of the development that's happening in the early years.
First Things First recognizes local government control, so we represent the La Paz Mojave Regional Partnership Council, which is comprised of 11 local volunteers who live and work in La Paz Mojave counties. We receive an annual allocation from the state's tobacco fund, tax fund. Our annual budget for this past year was about $4.3 million, which is awarded through competitive grants to programs that serve the local area. These grants go to programs that focus on health, early learning, and family support. Several of these grants were awarded to this last fiscal year to businesses here in Lake Havasu City, including 6 child care centers that participate in our Quality First program. This is a program that provides financial incentives to child care centers and preschools actively working to improve the quality of care young children receive. Scholarships are also available to families to help defray the cost of child care, one of the biggest expenses to families with young children. Having a safe, consistent child care provider is important to our working parents and the companies who employ them. Another one of our programs that contributes to the economy here in Lake Havasu is our professional development strategy that provides funding for early child care professionals to receive their Child Development Associate credential. The CDA process involves 120 hours of coursework, testing, and assessment. And funding for this coursework is covered by First Things First. And each year, more than 12 early childhood professionals earn this credential, including several high school students each year who are already working at the Little Knights Preschool through the high school CTE program. Those who earn their CDA are honored each year at the Early Childhood Conference held in June at the Aquatic Center here in Lake Havasu. And this year's conference will take place on Saturday, June 8th.
So we really want to extend our thanks to Mayor Sheehy, who will be attending that morning to congratulate and encourage those who are not only receiving their CDAs this year, but those who are also working toward getting their CDA. It's a very rigorous course program, 120 hours like Vijay mentioned. And it really just to be in that room with over 150 early childhood professionals on a Saturday in the summer, spending their summer vacation, really committing themselves to tools for learning. It's a really inspiring sight. So we'd like to thank Mayor Sheehy for spending that morning with us, and then extend an invitation to the rest of the City Council to spend that morning with us as well. We'll be sending you an email invitation. And so you'll see the little kids here are passing out some books and brains. We know that as city officials, you guys are often the first point of contact or get a lot of questions from residents looking for services. So if you do encounter young families who are looking for resources for young children ages birth to 5, we hope that you remember our name. They can just Google us First Things First, and it's on that little brain there to remind you not only of our organization, but also the fact that young brains are growing quickly. And to that end, we are also giving you books to share with a little one in your life. The easiest thing that you can do to encourage a child to grow is to just read with them, sing with them, and talk with them. So we hope that you'll take those books and do that with a young one tonight or sometime this week. Thank you very much for inviting us and sharing time on your agenda with us. We really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for all your work in our community. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, well, moving on to the next item on the agenda is the roll call. The city clerk would like to call the roll.
Council members Cal Sheehy,
Here.
David Lane,
Here.
Jenny Koch,
Here.
Gordon Grote,
Here.
Michelle Lynn,
Here.
Donna McCoy,
Here.
Jim Dolan.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the call to the public. This is where citizens have the opportunity to address the city council on any matter within the jurisdiction of the city. They can come up to the podium, state your name for the record. You will have 3 minutes during the call to the public. This wouldn't be a two-way conversation, so if you have anything that's on the agenda tonight during the public hearing, we encourage you to wait till that time so we can have a two-way conversation. Otherwise, we can just listen intently and possibly direct staff if necessary based on any of your comments or feedback. You don't have to sign up for call to the public, but we did have two, so we'll start with those folks first. Mr. Tom Kirchner with the Havasu Freedom Foundation, if you would. Welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
And Mr. Kirchner, if you could just lift the microphone up a little bit higher so folks at home can hear us better.
All right.
Thank you.
I am a volunteer board member of the Havasu Freedom Foundation, which manages the Havasu Memorial Walkway located by the bridge in the English Village. This walkway includes memorial bricks and the 76 Moments of Freedom, a path of American history. Please refer to the Havasu Memorial Walkway Facebook page for more information. On Saturday, June the 8th at 9 a.m., there will be a very special dedication of the next section of the walkway to the World War II Marine Navajo Code Talkers. Special bricks honoring the original 29 Code Talkers and others of the approximately 400 Marine Navajo Code Talkers that were part of the group will be unveiled. Only 9 of the 400 are now still alive. The foundation, along with the Lake Havasu Convention and Visitors Bureau and our local Marine Corps League, have invited and are providing lodging for approximately 45 Navajo Code Talker families, 10 of which are families of the original 29. They are traveling from various areas of Arizona, New Mexico, and other locations throughout the United States. There will be 2 historian daughters of the original Code Talkers as guest speakers. One daughter is an ASU professor. They will have some interesting stories to tell that their fathers have passed along to them. This event will be an historic day in Lake Havasu City, and we encourage all of you to attend. The foundation would like to extend our appreciation to the City Council, the local Marine Corps League, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the London Bridge Rotary Club, the ASU History Department, which helped identify the 76 Moments of Freedom, and the Lake Havasu High School History Department that is coordinating the students' essay contest regarding the 76 Moments of Freedom. And all who have supported we'd like to thank all who have supported our efforts. A special thanks to Mayor Sheehy who continues to support the foundation and the memorial walkway. He will also be speaking at the event. Remember, Saturday, June 8th, 9 o'clock a.m. will be a very special day for Lake Havasu City, and I think it's in keeping with the possibility that someday we may be named the most patriotic city in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next person that has signed up, and again, you don't have to sign up, so after Miss Lisa Kruger comes forward, then I know she has a presentation to make, but if anyone else would like to address this, they can do so after.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. And I have several new chamber members who are in the audience tonight. Would you guys like to join me at the podium?
We thought the draw was for us.
Yeah. Just let me know anytime. I can fill a room for you. Now, we have had a couple of, that was mentioned that the city is now over 55,000 population, so certainly it's a growing community and the chamber is growing. So I will let you know that between April 1st and today, we have 36 new chamber members, which I think is an amazing sign for our local economy. And so I have several that are here tonight, so maybe when I read your name, just wave. How's that sound for now? We have Healthy Choice Chem Dry, Mason Schaff, Shelf Genie, and Giondo. I always say that wrong. Yep, thank you. Swim Solutions Arizona, Kevin Williams. We have Cruz and Tiki's Havasu. We have Greg, and I'm going to butcher this name too, Liked. Damsel in Defense, Janina Robertson. Havasu Memorial Walkway, Tom Kirshner. Did you come back up, Tom? We have from the law offices of Samuel P. Moeller, Randy Sederberg. Referrals Club, Angela Meckel in Virginia. I don't know, did they come in? Oh, okay, Janina's going to represent them as well. From Calming Waters Counseling, Tanya Powell. Havasu Entertainment DJ Services, Robert Starkey. From KellyWallen.com, the famous Kelly Wallen. From Special Olympics Lake Havasu City, Jim Weinhammer. I practiced that one. From both Foundation Home Health and iDreama Care Management, Mark Powell. From Red Baron Wings and Pizza, we have Linda Spielman. And from The Cause, we have Reagan Ross. Did I get everyone? So excited. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Would anyone else like to address the City Council during the call to the public? Seeing none, we'll close the call to the public. The next item is our consent agenda. Would any of the council members like to remove any of the items on the consent agenda for further discussion? No? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion?
Yes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Councilmember McCoy. Is there any further discussion? We're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Next item is item 7, correspondence, communications, petitions, announcements, and the city manager report. Item 7.1 is the investment report as of March 31st, 2019. This is for filing unless any of the council members have any questions for Ms. Olson. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 7.2, announce vacancies on the Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. Ms. Williams?
Mayor and City Council, there are a number of vacancies on the Lake Havasu City boards, committees, and commissions. The following listing is of the current and upcoming vacancies. Airport Advisory Board, 1 regular member. Board of Adjustment, 3 regular members, 3 alternate members. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, 2 regular members. Planning and Zoning Commission, 3 regular members. And the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System, 1 regular member. Citizens interested can pick up a packet at City Hall, and they are also available on the city's website.
Thank you. Item 7.3, City Manager's Report. Mr. Knutson.
Good morning, Mayor and Council, or good evening, Mayor and Council. Let's go ahead and get started with the manager's report. It's been a long day for this evening, talking about water conservation. The Hampton Inn earns this quarter certificate of recognition award from Mayor Cal Sheehy and the Lake Havasu City Water Conservation Team for their reduced water usage that significantly reduced the amount of water they use by adding desert landscaping around the hotel grounds as part of their recent renovation. Recipients of the Water Conservation Award are selected quarterly through nominations from the public. So if anybody out there would like to nominate a business or a person for this award, please contact Brianna Morgan at 854-0880. There were over 140 riders that participated in the annual Run for the Wall motorcycle ride. They traveled from Ontario, California to the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. On Wednesday, May 15th, the riders stopped in Yucca for a lunch in their honor. Vice Mayor Dave Lane attended the luncheon, represented Lake Havasu City to honor, thank, and remember those who served and sacrificed for our country. He shook as many hands as he could and thanked each one for their service. Mayor Sheehy served as the keynote speaker at the Elks Evening of Excellence Scholarship Award Ceremony. The Elks recognized star students and teens of the month and gave over $13,000 in scholarships to high school graduating seniors. Wonderful. On May 16th, we had the pleasure of celebrating with Starline Elementary School Kindness Club members. These kids undertook a year-long initiative to create a permanent positive change in themselves, their school, and their community with acts of compassion and respect, and they invited Lake Havasu City to join in. Starline students, along with staff and city council and staff, each created a links to build a paper chain, and that chain represented acts of kindness made by others. This physical chain is a metaphor for each small act of kindness and how, when connected, they can make a larger impact. Mayor Sheehy proclaimed LHUSD Teacher of the Year Day on May 16th at the Chamber of Commerce Educator of the Year celebration in honor of Roseanne Hagan. Ms. Hagan is an elementary school first grade teacher and has worked for Smoke Tree Elementary School for the past 20 years. In that time, she's impacted thousands of our students' lives. Congratulations to Ms. Hagan. Your recognition is very well deserved. Mayor Sheehy and Vice Mayor Dave Lane judged the Poster Palooza contest at Havasu Preparatory Academy for third grade students. That was on Friday, May 18th. The theme for the contest this year was energy, past, present, and future. The kids did a wonderful job. Mayor Sheehy and Vice Mayor Dave Lane, along with myself, attended the Public Works Luncheon in honor of our Public Works employees last week. At the luncheon, Mayor Sheehy proclaimed the week as Public Works Week and called upon all citizens and civic organizations to learn more about the many contributions our Public Works employees do to enhance the quality of life for our city and our residents. Lake Havasu City bids farewell to seniors Tatum Bracamonte and Hayden Lintz. Both Tatum and Hayden are the first members to be on HIAC all 4 years of high school. Hayden is going to ASU to study biology, and Tatum is going to NAU to earn a teaching degree. We are thankful for their community service and the impact they had on Lake Havasu City. We wish them well and wish them luck, and we can't wait to see the successes that they achieve. Mayor Sheehy, City Council members, and the community joined together at the Lake Havasu Memorial Gardens yesterday on Memorial Day to remember the courageous men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our country and the reasons for the freedoms we have today. We are very thankful for their sacrifices. And I'd like to thank Gary Myers for the use of the photos. The next Coffee with the Mayor and City Manager will be held on June 14th. Please note this is not the first Friday. We'll be doing it on the second Friday of the month. We'll be meeting at the BLM Lake Havasu Field Office, which is located at 1785 Kiowa Avenue. Residents, as always, are encouraged to attend and express any issues, concerns, or questions. It does not require an RSVP, so come on by. If you have more questions, contact the Mayor's office at 453-4152. And Mayor and Council, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Mr. Knutson? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our public hearings. We'll start with item 8.1, a Series 12 restaurant liquor license for El Padrino Pizza and Pasta, 3269 Maricopa Avenue, Suite 110.
Mayor and City Council, Joel Zuniga has applied for a Series 12 restaurant liquor license for El Padrino Pizza and Pasta, located at 3269 Maricopa Avenue, Suite 110. All posting requirements have been met, all fees have been paid, and no objections were received. The location is properly zoned for a Series 12 restaurant liquor license. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Ms. Williams? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the City Council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor, motion.
Yes.
I move to recommend that the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control approve a Series 12 restaurant liquor license for El Padrino Pizza and Pasta, 3269 Maricopa Avenue, Suite 110.
Second.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Lane and a second from Councilmember Koch. Is there any further discussion? We're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. All right, the next item is item 8.2. Approve city manager employment contract with city manager Jess Knudsen.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The item before you tonight is the contract prepared based on your direction following the favorable evaluation of city manager on May 14th.
Excellent. Thank you. So this is for those that faithfully watch the council meetings or attend. Last council meeting, we went through a series of motions to give staff direction. So now this is coming back there'll be 3 separate items that we'll have. This item is specifically with the city manager. We'll also address one with the city magistrate, and then we'll also address an item with the city attorney. And so throughout this process, I told you we would share a little bit about how that goes. But what's in front of us today is all 3 of the positions that report directly to the city had a favorable evaluation during the process. I'll defer to Vice Mayor Lane to talk a little bit about that process in just a couple of minutes. But all 3 of these team members for the city have stepped up and not asked for an adjustment in their compensation. So they'll be serving in these positions at the same rate that they are today because they remain committed, as did the city council, as do these 3 positions, and all of the team members here in Lake Havasu City remain committed to the positional analysis process that we are going through and starting. So one, I would like to thank these 3 positions for stepping up and staying committed to the process that we are doing throughout the city as a whole. But with that, Vice Mayor Lane, if you'd like to talk a little bit about the process.
I would love to do that. You stole some of my thunder. Thank you. First of all, I'm going to address all 3 because it's going to be one item after another item after another item. So we'll talk about all 3 of the processes at the same time. As the vice mayor, I got the privilege of being able to sit down and kind of spearhead the evaluation process for these 3 employees, which are the only 3 city employees that actually work for the city council. That's the city manager, the city attorney, and our magistrate, who are all 3 here tonight. And they all received glowing evaluations. And the way we did this evaluation is I met with all 3 of them personally, one-on-one ahead of time to get some feedback from them and let them know what the process was going to be like. And it was during that initial meeting, speaking with all 3 of them, when I broached the subject of compensation and what it was that they may be expecting over this next year, all 3 of them brought up to me that they did not want to have any raise in compensation at all. That they know that the city is going through this positional analysis. Last year, when it came up for the city council for a pay raise, we said no ourselves because we wanted to wait till the positional analysis was done. They've done the same thing. And it just goes to show what team players they are. That they put the city ahead of their own personal dollars that they go into their pocket, and that's very much appreciated. I did bring up to them that I wasn't so sure that it was a good idea for them not to have a pay increase. Contrary to popular belief, where people think that we don't give our city employees pay raises, for the at least since I've been up here, and I think for the majority of the people up here, every year those employees that are eligible for step increases do receive those increases. And this year is no exception. There's money in the budget, and all of the employees that are eligible for step increases will receive those step increases. But even with that, they have said, even though their employees will be getting step increases, or some of them will be anyway, it depends on where they're at in the range, they did not want a pay increase. And I just thought that was very, very commendable on their part, to be part of the team players. And then what happened from there is we sent out evaluations to the rest of the council. Everybody was able to put in their 2 cents worth. Our evaluations were based on our own observations and also input from the public. I've had public input on all 3 of the employees. People tell me whether or not they think they're doing a great job, and whether or not they don't think they're doing a good job. But I've received very positive comments. So all 3 of them got evaluations this year that they are exceeding the expectations of what the people in the city expect from them. So I'd like to say thank you to the 3 of you for doing an outstanding job this last year, and thank you for being part of the team, because this is a team. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Lane. Would any of the other council members like to make any comments or questions? All right, so this is a public hearing, so I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the city manager's employment contract with Jess Knutson.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember McCoy and a second from Councilmember Koch. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item is item 8.3, approve city magistrate employment contract with Mitchell Kalali. Mrs. Palvicki.
This is the employment contract for the city magistrate based on your direction after the favorable evaluation of May 14th.
Excellent, thank you. Do any members of the council have any comments? All right, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the city magistrate employment contract with Mitchell Kalali.
Second.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Lane and a second from Councilmember McCoy. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. And item 8.4 is approve city attorney employment contract with Kelly C. Gary. Mrs. Palvicki.
Okay, the final contract based on your direction from the favorable evaluation of May 14th.
Excellent. Do any members of the council have any comments or questions? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mayor,
Councilmember Koch?
motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the city attorney employment contract with Kelly C. Gary.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Koch and a second from Vice Mayor Lane. Is there any further discussion? Or we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Right quick, I just want to say one other thing on this. When it comes to the evaluations, Shirley, I know you already went back there, but I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you did helping me with this, and also Jerry Bracamonte, who is not here tonight. But I could not have done this process if it wasn't for the assistance of Shirley and Jerry. So thank you for your help.
All right, the next item on our agenda is 8.5, approve professional services contract with Willetta Partners for Arizona Government Relations, Consultant, and Lobbyist Services. Mr. Knutson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is a professional service contract with Willetta Partners. In the audience this evening, representing Willetta Partners is Brian Tassinari. The contract you see before you that's been negotiated by staff serves as a one-year contract with 4 options for the city to renew for a total of 5 years. The cost is the same as previous years with the contract, so I'm thankful to Mr. Tassinari for keeping that cost the same. It's $60,000 per year. Brian has had a working relationship with Lake Havasu City for about 17 years now, and he has ties to Lake Havasu City. The contract, the services that Mr. Tassinari provides to the city include different functions that are related to government relations. We can count on him to monitor bills and give us heads up on certain meetings that are taking place, or how the how the bills are progressing or lack of. Special thanks to him and his team for the work they did on the vacation rental bill, which was very, very important to Lake Havasu City, which was recently signed by the governor. So very excited to see that progress. He also lobbies on the behalf of Lake Havasu City with not just the senator and representatives that represent our area, but throughout the state, and communicates our needs to the legislature and individuals in the legislature. Special thanks to him for facilitating a meeting recently with the ASU and Lake Havasu City, so we can better promote ASU as a destination and a place for as an option for kids to go to school. I've asked Brian to maybe join us at the podium and answer any questions and provide a little bit of an update. We went to sign die early this morning, late last night. Is that how that worked?
Early this morning.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mayor, Council, thank you for this chance to speak to you today. I will be brief, especially since the city manager covered about half of my points, which is good. I was quite certain I wasn't going to be here because we were in day 135, and the way things work is they just all kind of came together at 12:38 this morning. So thanks for letting me be here to talk to you about what I do for you, and also thank you for your business and letting me work for the city that I grew up in. I appreciate that. Many cities the size of Lake Havasu have an in-house lobbyist that performs the functions that we do for you. I think as a cost-cutting measure, many years ago, it was decided not to do that. So we perform that function as well as kind of the contract lobbying function, which involves liaisoning with mostly the mayor and council, but also sometimes staff as a conduit of information to what's going on, what's being done, and what they might be doing to you. And I'm happy to report there's a lot less of that these days than in the past. What I'd like to do is cover for you just real big picture, the budget, a couple of the bills that we worked on, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. As you alluded to, Mr. City Manager, the big sticking point, as always, was the state budget. The big ticket items that are in there was $500 million added to the rainy day fund. I guess they're worried it's going to start raining pretty soon. Secondly was Wayfair, which is of real importance and concern to the city. And I'm gonna touch on Wayfair in a minute on a specific issue related to Lake Havasu. Tax conformity was another sticking point. This has to do with the changes at the federal level that were made and the way they impacted Arizona's taxes. Turns out the way the deductions and whatnot were changed, if they did nothing, it would have resulted in a tax increase, more revenue being collected from Arizona taxpayers. And that was something that the Republican legislature didn't want to do, so they were kind of fighting over what that conformity looked like. They finally reached a conclusion. The last thing was especially odd to be included in a budget, but it had to do with statute of limitations on civil suits for sex offenders. Arizona apparently had the most lenient threshold, which was at the age of 20. The plaintiff was foreclosed from filing civil action. That was moved to 30. And then there's been a window that's created in perpetuity going backwards for 18 months where if you feel you've been sexually molested, you have an opportunity to file civil suit. None of this has anything to do with criminal. Anyway, that was a huge issue that kind of held the whole process up for probably 2 weeks. It was nice that they got that resolved. With regard to specific legislation, vacation rentals is probably the thing that we worked on most closely. As it was introduced, it had some more draconian / Orwellian measures of monitoring guests with remote devices and reporting their activities to the cloud. And I was astounded in in the stakeholder meetings that anybody thought this was a good idea. Anyway, we were able to get that stuff out. It's a great bill because it takes some administrative process that already exists with regard to collection of TPT and the information that they need to do that, and giving it to the city so that you all have a way to reach out to owners if there's been problems with renters. It makes clear that you can't turn these homes into party houses. It makes clear that you can enforce your existing zoning regulations. So, for example, you can't have a 3-bedroom house that advertises sleeps 28, for example. That's a real example. With regard to Wayfair, I mentioned that earlier. I got a call from the mayor just a few days ago regards the way that auto sales to out-of-state buyers who drive the vehicle off the lot as opposed to hauling it off the lot get taxed. In the Wayfair legislation, I think it was an oversight, but the way it was written was going to foreclose your ability to tax those sales. I know there's a lot of people from Canada and whatnot that come here and buy cars. And I don't know the number, I don't know if anybody does, but it would have been a significant loss to the state. We got that cleaned up. And then lastly, we had, I thought, a very productive meeting a few months ago with ASU. As a big bureaucracy, there was some concern, and I thought if we could just get the mayor with the right people and the city manager to sort of break through that and demonstrate the commitment that the city has to the university, so the university understands that, and then build some new linkages so the new partnerships and new proposals can go forward. And I think we were successful in doing that. That's all my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Excellent, thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for Mr. Testneri? Vice Mayor Lane?
I don't have a question, just a comment. I just want to say thank you for the emails. Those letters that you send to us to keep us updated are very much appreciated. They're very clear, very concise, and they're short. They don't just go into a bunch of fluffy stuff just to make it long and drawn out to, oh, look, I'm going to show them I'm earning my money.
Right.
You get to the point and you give us the information that we need, and I truly appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Would anyone else have any questions? So I'd just like to report to the council, because I interface with Brian often, but he's always very responsive. So always picks up the phone and literally had an answer and fixed that auto issue for us in like 3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fast. And so he's always responsive and ready to work for us at any time. And then if any of you have any issues that's happening at the legislature, just interface with Jess or myself, and we can make those things happen. So thank you for doing a great job for us and being responsive for everything that we need.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the professional services contract with Willetta Partners for Arizona Government Relations Consultant Lobbyist Services in an amount not to exceed $60,000 annually for 1 year, and authorize city staff to exercise the option to renew for a maximum of 4 additional 12-month periods.
Second.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Lane and a second from Councilmember Lynn. All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Item 8.6 is approve a sole source purchase of one LifePak 15 monitor and annual expenditures exceeding $50,000 with Physio Control Inc. Chief Davis?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I'm here this evening for what would be a rather routine purchase. However, with the maintenance, service, repair, and everything else that we do with Physio Control, which is the sole vendor for our cardiac monitors, that pushes the amount annually, or for this year, over $50,000. So obviously that's why I'm here this evening with you. This purchase is for a LifePak 15. That is the typical cardiac monitor that we use. It, coupled with a paramedic and several other things, is what actually creates an advanced life support unit. We currently have 13 LifePaks in service. 10 of those are the LifePak 15. There are 12 that have reached the point that they are no longer supported by Physio. So what we have done is kind of a stopgap with, as we talked about in the budget process, kind of making choices and moving on things. Those 3 LifePak 12s are one that we have looked at over the years as potentially reaching the point of replacement, but have reached the point that we do in fact need to do one, just so that we have that kind of that spare. When they get damaged or need to go in for service, that's not something that we can take it to Radio Shack if that still existed. It has to ship into Physio Control. So obviously one spare is an ideal situation for us. I would point out that we buy these over the years. The one that's being replaced was purchased in '05, so we got a good lifespan out of that. Usually 8 to 10 years is about what we would expect. We did purchase a couple of these in 2015, and the price was more than what I'm here for this evening. And the last large purchase we made in 2013 was actually $26,365. So over the course of 6 years, we've gone up a grand total of $400. So I think we brought back the price that we would expect. I will say that we tried to go to a cooperative purchase agreement through HGAC. There was a price there that was a little bit lower than this, but kind of like a computer, when you buy the computer, there's everything else. Plus there's all of the internal workings, if you were. That unit didn't meet our specifications, so what we did was we took that to Physio and said we would like that purchase agreement, but we can't do that sole source purchase because it doesn't have our specs. They basically matched that with our specs, and that's how we arrived at this figure. So given the fact, like I said, that we went up $400 over the course of about 6 years, I think that's certainly a reasonable increase over 4 years. So that brings me this evening to the one Life Pack 15 in the amount of $26,760.13, which again would take our annual cost with Physio over $50,000, which is why I'm here with you. I will point out that Physio is now belongs to Stryker Corporation, and so because some of our literature says Physio Control and some of it says Stryker Corporation, I'm not trying to tongue tie you, Mayor. I just simply wanted to make sure that we were very clear in the motion, or I guess for whoever makes the motion. So, and with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Do any members of the council have any questions for the chief? All right, seeing none, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to address the city council on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, motion?
Yes.
I move to approve the sole source purchase of one Life Pack 15 with accessories in the amount of $26,750.13 and total annual expenditures in excess of $50,000 with Physio Control, Inc., a subsidiary of Stryker Corporation.
Second.
Excellent. We have a motion from Councilmember McCoy and a second from Councilmember Koch. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. All right, that concludes our public hearings. The next item on our agenda is current events. Do any members of the council have any council committee reports? No? All right, we'll move on to item 10, which is our final call to the public. This is where citizens have the opportunity to address the city council on any matter within the jurisdiction of the city. If you would like to make any comments, you just make your way to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. All right, item 11, our future meetings. On Tuesday, June 11th, 2019 at 6 p.m. is our regular meeting. And it's also the meeting that we will have our tentative budget and our CIP adoption. And then on Tuesday, June 25th, 2019 at 6 p.m. will be a regular meeting and our final budget adoption. Item 12, is there any future discussion items of the council? No? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, we have a motion and a second. We are adjourned. Thank you for being here.